Is there a glimmer of hope of Liverpool Football Club achieving top 4 this season? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Liverpool 1, Brentford 0. That was the scoreline at Anfield yesterday as Jurgen Klopp's side made it 6 wins on the bounce and 8 games unbeaten as the Reds go marching on in what has obviously been a roller coaster of emotions this season, a yo-yo of a season, a complete and utter bizarre, random mixed bag of a campaign for the Reds. But could top 4 still be on the cards as we enter the final few games of this Premier League campaign? That is what some people have been questioning and asking Liverpool fans, as Liverpool have gone on this run now, like I say, of 6 games on winning on the bounce, 8 games unbeaten, and have managed to cut the points tally to 4th place Manchester United to a single point. Now, the overall context is that Newcastle in 3rd, they are 3 points ahead of Liverpool. United in 4th are a point ahead of Liverpool, but both of those teams have 2 games in hand over the Reds. But of course, as we know, games in hand don't mean points on the board. Could we be in for an exciting end to the season in terms of a top 4 race? Could we be in for another twist in the tail as far as a top 4 race goes? Only time will tell. But in this video, I am going to be talking about Liverpool. I am going to be talking about the slim possibility of their top 4 chances being alive and kicking for the rest of this campaign, and also talking about the recent run of form of Jurgen Klopp's side, the tweaks and changes that Jurgen Klopp has made to his side, and how that may see Liverpool go forward into next season perhaps. But before we go any further and talking about all about Liverpool and top 4 and everything, I would like to remind you to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And also for you guys to get involved in the comment section as well. I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on this particular topic, on Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, top 4 race and everything else in between down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make it interesting and exciting reading. But for now, let's talk Liverpool Football Club, let's talk the top 4 race and everything else in between. Look, first and foremost, let me say, for my club, I'm pretty proud of how they've gone about their business recently. I'm pretty excited. Well, not really, maybe excited, but mainly proud. I'd say mainly proud of how they've gone about their business towards the end of this campaign and in recent weeks. It's not been entirely convincing by any stretch of the imagination. Performances have been hit and miss, I guess you'd say. The only thing that really matters is getting points on the board, and Liverpool have managed to do that, and I'll build on more on that a little later on in the video. But to say that obviously this has been a complete roller coaster of a season. We've been through every emotion as Liverpool fans this campaign, whether it's been seeing us at our scintillating best against the likes of Bournemouth and against the likes of Manchester United and Leeds and a couple of other teams, and having glimpses and flashes in matches of being at our best, to obviously being at our lowest of lows and losing to teams that we really shouldn't be losing to, with all due respect. The likes of Nottingham Forest, the likes of Bournemouth, and so on and so forth. It has been a bit of a crazy, topsy-turvy, randomly merry-go-round, yo-yo-y, roller-coaster-y type season. As far as what Liverpool fans are concerned. So the fact that we actually do still have, going into the final 3 games of the season, a very slim but still a chance of getting into the top 4 is bizarre enough for me to actually believe. But the reality is that should obviously results go in our favour, there's still a slim possibility. I don't think we'll get it by any means of the imagination. I think we've left it a little too late. I think if there were a few more games to go in the season, I think if we're on the same number of games as the teams that are above us, with a similar goal difference, similar points tally, or maybe even slightly better, then obviously I would probably tip them more to go and get that top 4 spot. But the fact of the matter is that stupid results, stupid droppings of points at certain teams has obviously left Liverpool in this situation where top 4 is completely out of our hands. But like I say, not out the realms of possibility. I think Liverpool will have to settle for Europa League football. And although that I've said multiple times that I'm not crazy about Europa League football or anything lower than what the Champions League is, because the Champions League is the pinnacle and it's what I want to see my team compete in every single season, we'll just have to take our medicine for this season. We'll just have to accept the fact that maybe Europa League is the best we're going to achieve for this campaign and for the next campaign. And obviously play with the cards that we are dealt with. And the fact of the matter is that Liverpool are lying in 5th place right now with 62 points, a point behind Manchester United in 4th, who are on 63 points with 2 games in hand, and Newcastle United are 3 points ahead of Liverpool in 3rd with 65 points, having played obviously again 2 games less than the Reds. Later on today, both sides will be in action. Newcastle have got the tough task of facing 2nd place Arsenal, with Arsenal obviously pursuing Manchester City at the top of the table. Manchester United will take on a West Ham side who are looking to still put themselves beyond all doubt of a relegation battle, but at the same time may have one eye on a Europa Conference League semi-final that's coming up midweek. So could be interesting to see how David Moyes' side try and approach that game. You would expect Man United to go on and win that game. The Newcastle game is much more difficult to predict, but it is at St James's Park, where coincidentally only one team has beaten Newcastle at St James's Park, and that was Liverpool, of course, near the beginning of the season. So Arsenal have a tough task ahead of them at St James's Park this afternoon. Like I say, the fact that Liverpool have got a slim chance of this baffles me and confuses me, but it's what it is. It's been the epitome of what has been a very long and very strange and weird kind of season. But in my opinion, like I say, I think Liverpool have left it too little too late. Had there been another few games to go in this campaign, I might obviously give them a bit more of a chance. But I do think that considering the fixture lists of all 3 of the teams, I do feel Liverpool have left it a little too late to try and get into that top 4 spot. The maximum number of points Liverpool can accumulate this season is 71, which means that Newcastle theoretically only needs 7 points from their remaining 5 games to secure top 4, which I believe that they will achieve. And Manchester United will obviously need a maximum, or a minimum, should I say, of 8 points to, 9 points really, to obviously mathematically put themselves beyond Liverpool's reach. That's essentially 3 wins from their remaining 5 games. And when you look at the fixture list of all 3 of the teams, again, both Newcastle and Manchester United both seem to have that kind of achievability factor to it. Liverpool can't put a foot wrong in their final 3 games, and you wouldn't even back against Liverpool Liverpool dropping points, despite the fact that they are on a run right now in their remaining 3 games. Liverpool have got Leicester, Villa and Southampton coming up in their final 3 games of the season. You would expect them to obviously win all 3 of those games. Leicester battling for Premier League survival, of course, so that one could be a bit of a banana skin. Aston Villa battling for some form of European football for next campaign, so that one could be difficult as well. But the Southampton game in particular, they should already be relegated by the time Liverpool face them on the final day of the season, so that one should be 3 points in the bag theoretically for Jurgen Klopp's side, but obviously we'll have to wait and see on that. But as you move up, you look at Man United's games. Like I say, they've got West Ham coming up this afternoon, Wolves next at Old Trafford, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, and then Fulham at home on the final day of the season. Theoretically, United's home form has been superb this season. Only lost once at Old Trafford all campaign. Really, they could pick up all 9 of the points that they need with their home games and be safe and sound and secured for next season's Champions League games for the next campaign. And when you look at Newcastle, Arsenal today at St James's Park, Leeds away. Obviously, Liverpool fans will be hoping for some form of Sam Allardyce masterclass when obviously his Leeds United side host Eddie Howe's side on that day. Brighton at home, that could be tough for Newcastle. Brighton flying high this season, very difficult to beat and very good away from home as well. So that one could be a tough and intriguing game. They have also Leicester at home. Again, Leicester could be battling for relegation still by that point. Depends on obviously how Leicester's season pans out for the remaining games. And then on the final day of the season, Newcastle will be travelling to Stamford Bridge for a final game against Chelsea. And again, it could be a dead rubber as far as what Chelsea are concerned, because Chelsea probably are not playing for anything other than pride. So that one could be an intriguing game nonetheless. So realistically, again, 3 games at home. Like I say, 7 points could very well be on the cards. Leeds and Leicester in particular should be games that Newcastle should fancy their chances of winning. And then Arsenal, Brighton, Chelsea, you could easily see Newcastle, with the form they're in this season, at the very least picking up points in those games. So like I say, I do think the top 4 race is just a little too far for what remains of this Premier League season as far as what Liverpool are concerned. But that's not to say that Liverpool can't continue to move forward this season and put the wheels in motion for next season. We've already seen the tweaks that Jurgen Klopp has made to his Liverpool side that has made them go on this run, or has helped them go on this run of form in recent games. Like I say, I don't think the performances have been up to standard. I think there's been glimpses and flashes of brilliance and scintillating football here and there. The first 15-20 minutes against Tottenham, for example, stand out in my mind. But in saying that, you can see that obviously there is a slight change in tactics. There is a slight change in certain positions. Trent Alexander-Arnold in particular, we are showcasing more of his strengths than his weaknesses, so to speak. And that is obviously paying dividends right now for Liverpool, and is obviously helping them move forward. And obviously that will, the more that they play that way, the more that they get used to that formation, the more that they realise or put into effect that kind of tactic in games, will obviously help towards next season for most of those players that will still be there, in terms of how they will react, how they will grow in a new position, how they will grow in a new formation, and how this Liverpool side will resurrect and rebuild themselves. For right now, like I say, the performances aren't up to a standard, but it's like what I've said with Manchester United for some of the season. The performances might not be of a high caliber, but they are still getting the job done. They are still winning games, and that's the biggest compliment that you can pay anybody, because we all know that Liverpool have struggled in the midfield. We all know that Liverpool are going to strengthen that midfield come the summer. Add a stronger midfield to what Liverpool are doing right now, and I think there are the little holes that you see from game to game these past several weeks, the little kind of weaknesses of Liverpool will be patched up a little bit, and they'll be ready to go again for next season, and they will be strengthened, and they will be beefed up, and they will be, again, like I say, be ready to go for the next campaign. And Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool will look to rebuild this side and resurrect, obviously, this side to hopefully be challenging again, be a firm favourite for that top 4, maybe even go back to challenging the likes of Manchester City and maybe even Arsenal if they manage to maintain their standing for the next campaign. It has been good to watch them, how they've gone about their business, full of pride, trying to obviously get salvage something from what has been a car crash of a season. And like I say, I think that with just a bit more match time, a bit more match preparation, a bit more understanding of what obviously Jurgen Klopp is looking at to try and change and tweak with this formation and this side and this squad, I think obviously Liverpool Football Club will continue to rebuild themselves across the rest of this season, across the summer in terms of the squad personnel and everything, and hopefully by next season they'll be rearing to go right from the off. That's the hope anyway. That is definitely the hope. And some of the players in that squad will hopefully have a better understanding of their role. Hopefully, get that role and get that job done better, and will obviously gel better as a unit for that next campaign. Because, like I say, they're slowly but surely rebuilding that winning mentality. They're digging deep. Most teams wouldn't have come back from some of the times that they were beaten. They fought back against the likes of West Ham. They managed to. They did. I'm gonna say they did lose a 3-goal lead at Anfield of all places to Tottenham. But they were still alive and alert to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, there was a winning goal in the end. And of course, it beautifully played out with Diogo Jota getting that winning goal against Tottenham. Again, digging deep last night to win 1-0 against Brentford. Digging deep to win 1-0 midweek against Fulham. That sort of builds that winning mentality of digging in deep when it matters most. It's the kind of things that Liverpool sides have done time and time again under Jurgen Klopp's management these past several years, and they did so when they were winning the title, when they were winning the Champions League, when they were winning the domestic cups. That's what Liverpool had done time and time again, and you can sense there is a bit of rebuilding there, and there is a bit of rebuilding in trust, momentum, and mentality that maybe, just maybe, will carry them forward into next season. And that is the overall hope, that will obviously continue to build. It will obviously be carried over into the next campaign. But just whether or not Liverpool will be there with Europa League football or Champions League football remains to be seen. It does add a bit of pressure to those teams above them. But like I say, given the kind of fixture list that all three sides have got, given how the context of the season is, with obviously Newcastle and Manchester United having 2 games in hand, having games in hand at home, being difficult to beat at home as well as tricky away from home, you would probably expect Liverpool to finish just outside the top 4, but have a platform to build upon for next season, and with the right recruitment in the summer, could definitely be back challenging again for top 4, and maybe at a bare minimum, and maybe even a title contendership for the next campaign. Should obviously the right decisions be made, should this new tweaking of the formation and tactics continue to develop and get stronger as time goes by, and obviously with better recruitment, people being on form, fingers crossed for the bare minimum of injuries, because obviously injuries will happen, but the bare minimum. But yeah, it's not looking completely terrible as it was several weeks ago, but at the same time, it is what it is, and we just have to play with the cards that we've been dealt with this season. I'm not too crazy about Europa League football. I've said time and time again that I'd definitely want to be at the pinnacle of club football and be seeing my team in the Champions League season after season. But of course, it is what it is. We have to play with the cards that we're dealt with, and the Europa League. It's the Europa League. We'll still go for it next season, I'm sure. But those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Liverpool, their recent run of form, their top 4 chances, the top 4 race itself, and maybe even how do you see them going in the summer in terms of recruitment and their transfer situation, as well as how do you see them going on for next season? I'd love to know all your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting and exciting reading. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. I'll see you all again soon in another video.